And welcome to our review of the 2003 Days of Thunder series. The Rockingham-based series attracted huge crowds to the purpose-built stadium near Corby throughout the year. People flocking in to see not just the racing, but to enjoy a wide range of family entertainment. And this is what the drivers face at Rockingham. 1.5 miles, 4 very different corners, banked at about 7 degrees.
The key to success in Days of Thunder racing is consistency. Points are scored all down the field with bonuses for qualifying and leading races. But consistent finishing seemed to be the last thing on the drivers' minds at the start of round 1. Michael Verges and Ian McKellar Jr. touched at the first turn, and it was McKellar Jr.'s 25 car which came off worse and hit the wall. Kevin Clark was also out on the spot with accident damage. After the restart, the field settled down, with Ben Collins leading from Roland Rayfelt. But we joined the battle for third between Michael Verges and Anthony Swan as they're closing in on the leaders.
The Flying Dutchman Verges is tipped as a favourite for the championship, but Anthony Swan, another of the young guns, came through ASCAR, the Oval Race Series last year. He's gained a lot of experience. He's out there in a fully funded RML prepared car this year, which is really perhaps one of the best cars on the track. He's going to start making that really work for him. Meanwhile, Roland Rayfelt, the German's got that clutch problem well sorted now, and it's the German hunting down the Team TA car of Ben Collins, and Collins is driving a superb defensive race.
Looks to me though, Steve, as we look here at the onboard of Roland Rayfelt, that Anthony Swan just dropping off that front trio as Ben Collins leads them away just up towards clipping the wall there between turns 2 and 3, and this is where you've got to be really brave, keep the power in, and that's what Rayfelt's done.
Awesome stuff from Roland Rayfelt. Even more awesome, Ben Collins' spotter was absolutely spot on there. He told him to move down and block. He did it just right. Rayfelt knew exactly what was going on there. He's still carrying the speed. He's got the long way to go around turn 1. I don't think he'll do it there. All this time, Michael Verges in that Chicago pneumatic car is closing in on the second place car. The Lego Racers car of Anthony Swan is in there as well. But I tell you what, Team TA were using this to recruit new members to the Territorial Army. It's all about determination and defending, and that's just what Ben Collins is doing.
Looking back from John Mickle's car, that behind us is Ollie Plale, young teammate and something of a protege for John Mickle. Mickle eases off the gas. Powering back on though is Ben Collins. I'm not so sure about this weaving around at the front. That's not really oval track racing for me. Rayfelt is clearly quicker, and I think Verges 2 behind them would also be quicker if Collins would just get out of the way.
Well, that's not what he's paid to do. He's paid to lead races. My money's with Ben Collins at the moment. He is looking good at the moment. Don't forget, while these others are fighting around him, he is, although moving off the racing line, is still controlling the smoothness of his car through the corners. But the fact is, this top 4 are running away at the head of the order. John Mickle with Ollie Plale right on his tail, and the other young gun as well, that's Alessandro Linz. Oh, and that is Mickle! Mickle up into the wall, and that was a huge impact at turn 4. It's moved the axle right across the car. There's the exhaust pipe rattling down the track, or is it a drive shaft even? It was a prop shaft out of the transmission, and that is a very big impact. The rescue crews very quickly on the scene.
Well, looking at the replay, it's Mickle's teammate, Ollie Plale, in the 26 car who taps the 24 car into the spin, and heavy contact with the wall.
Now riding with John Mickle, and we can only show these because we know he's okay, I hasten to add. Just watch this. There is Ollie. He'll be mortified about this. John just starts to move down a little bit. Ollie's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's the kiss, and there's the wall.
But while the rescue crews attended to Mickle, the rest of the field came in for their mandatory pit stops. 3 men are allowed over the wall and they must change at least the outside 2 tyres. Well, everyone came in apart from race leader Ben Collins, and that tactical error by his team was to cost him any chance at all of race victory. Roland Rayfeld's HTML team finished their pit stop first, but as he races down the pit lane with Stevie Hodgson, it's all eyes on the Westech pit closest to the camera. And it's Vergers who sprints out into a lead he'll never lose. Meanwhile, the early race leader Ben Collins made his pit stop after a slow lap behind the safety car. And it was that slow lap that caused him to drop well down the field. Despite the efforts of the RML team resplendent in their fatigues, Collins must have been feeling the frustration as the car dropped off the jack. With Mickle trapped in the 24 car and under the anxious gaze of all the teams, officials decide to stop the race. After a quick checkup in hospital, Mickle is okay, but that car won't be racing again. And it didn't end there. A slowing Anthony Swan was tapped by John Stewart, and the chaos behind saw visiting former NASCAR Bush driver Steve Grissom sent towards the inner wall. Mark Proctor in 12 was the next unfortunate victim. Out of turn 1, Alex Lindsay ran into him, and the resulting spin left Andy Smith in 39 with nowhere to go. A superb victory though for Michael Vergers, but it left us all out of breath. So the Dutchman takes an early championship lead, with Ben Collins leaping ahead of podium-placed Ollie Playle thanks to his bonus points.
Well, I just took it easy at the beginning, and as you can see, people are driving way beyond their measures and their talent, and keep hitting the wall. And I knew it was a 60-lap race, so I just took it easy. The pit crew made an awesome pit stop, and obviously gained us the lead. And then it was just a case of keeping the rest behind, and we did that.
Round 2 at Rockingham got off to a clean start, but as we join the action, a third of the way through the race, the top 6 are covered by just a few seconds.
Oh, and this is Alex Lindsay with the number 5 car closing in of Rob Speak. And don't forget, Rob Speak, the reigning world stock car champion. And that is a tremendous battle for 5th and 6th places. Roland Rayfeld, meanwhile, he has his eye on 2nd place. There's battles all the way up and down the order. The beauty of an oval race is you can see them all from the grandstand, and this is what they're seeing. Cars literally rubbing the wall, just a couple of centimetres off the wall at 160 mile an hour.
And here is Rayfeld, gets to the inside of Stevie Hodgson, hasn't quite got the track position to make the move on Hodgson, and these two vastly experienced. We should see some tremendous scrapping here this time. Rayfeld comes off turn 4, he's got the inside line. The spotters, these are the guys up in the gantry, looking down and saying there is a car inside of you, Stevie, and that's cost Hodgson momentum. Ollie Playle will line him up too, and look at Collins.
Well, Playle, Collins and Lindsay all taking advantage of that. It's really put a gaggle of cars together here, and running in behind all of them is that Ian McKellar as well? Absolutely fantastic, and into the wall. We have another big shunt at Rockingham, and round he goes. Where Stevie Hodgson stops, nobody knows.
Here it is again. Ollie Playle in the 26 car down low. Hodgson gets the move, he backs off. Lindsay keeps the power on, doesn't go high, doesn't go low. What does he do? He drives straight into the back of the 6 car. And as you say, Ben Collins did well to avoid it, but poor old Rob Speak just left with nowhere to go.
Well, in Lindsay's defence here, I was the first to criticise him. I would say actually Stevie Hodgson came off the gas very, very hard there. He obviously had a problem himself. He had to come off the gas or go into the wall. Let's have another look at that. Lindsay gets a great move around the outside of Ben Collins, and here we see Stevie Hodgson now. He comes right off the gas. This is where all of a sudden the Colombian gets a face full of racing car.
Well, after all the wreckage was cleared up, Michael Vergers found himself in the lead. But a hard-charging Roland Rayfeld in the 69 car and Ben Collins in the 84 were determined not to let him make it 2 wins in a row.
Well, Roland Rayfeld must know that time is running out for him. If he does not get past Michael Vergers in a minute, he'll have to start defending. He'll have to come off the attack. Vergers might start to pull away when that happens, because Ben Collins, you talk about a charge, that shouldn't be the Territorial Army, that should be the cavalry.
Well, he's got a few horses under that bonnet. The Juice RML boys have seen to that. He's got a car that's handling very well. They'll lap Tony King. Tony King incidentally, oh, that provides the opportunity. Rayfelt to the inside. It was presented to him on a platter and he gathered it up very nicely like a butler with a silver tray.
That was absolutely beautifully judged by Roland Rayfeld, and Ben Collins makes his move down the inside of Michael Burgess through turn 1, 150 miles an hour through this corner. It's up to 165 at the end of this straight, and Burgess is not giving way. He is not going to let him have the line for that corner.
Double wide through turn 2, they'll be double wide through turn 3. They'll come all the way down until they're absolutely hanging on the rev limiter before they turn in. And this is what Days of Thunder Racing is all about, respect to each other.
Well, respect, but look at this for on the limit racing. But it's going to be a problem for Ben Collins here, you know. Oh, his car gives a twitch there. That's a sign, particularly the right rear tyre. He's on the inside line. He is generating more cornering forces, more heat in those outer tyres. And at some point, even those Hoosier tyres have to give way. He will have to back off and let them cool. And that's what he's done.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. Burgess had the high line round here. It proves yet again. I know there's been discussion about this, but for me, Rockingham is very definitely a two-groove racetrack. And will Collins look to the inside? No, he decides that discretion and valour, well, you know, valour's all very well in the TA, but at the moment, discretion is what takes the upper hand.
Well, it's all about using your brains in this type of racing, and both of these drivers are literally playing a 150 mile an hour game of chess, because that is exactly what they're doing. You know what Ben Collins is trying to do? He is trying to force Michael Burgess to take an inside line so he can get round the outside of him, and Michael Burgess says, oh no you're not. But another chance for Ben Collins here. The nose is alongside, the door is alongside, the rear spoiler is clear, he's through.
Brilliant stuff from Collins. Made the move there on the approach to turn 2. He got the momentum, and that's what this racing's all about. It's about momentum racing.
Well, Roland Rayfeld really did take advantage of the traffic in this situation. Ben Collins was closing in. Rayfeld knew he had to make the move, and maybe there he just had to come off the gas in the 96 car to get past Tony King, and straight away Rayfeld was in that position just to get the bounce on him, take the advantage, and that straight away also got Ben Collins to put Burgess under pressure.
It has been a great drive by Rayfeld. Brilliant move right to the front, and he's on his final lap now towards the checkered flag. Goes around Tony King, one of the back markers, and the points he'll score will really help his championship.
Well, watch out for the start gantry. Those two checkered flags are going to be a welcome sight for the German driver. It's Roland Rayfeld all the way from Berlin, takes the victory. Great run to second place by Ben Collins. Michael Burgess into third place, and then looking back about half a lap down before we see Ollie Plale. That is a sign of the superiority of the three men at the top.
And it's those three men on the podium at the top of the point standings, with youngster Ollie Plale doing an amazing job for an 18-year-old.
At first it was quite amazing. We haven't had so many races with stop and go, so it's just the beginning of the season and everybody wants to push hard, and fortunately I could put myself out of the trouble.
The magnificent main grandstand at Rockingham was packed again just a few weeks later for round 3, as nearly 40,000 spectators came to see the on and off track action. This arm injury from a motorcycle accident would mean championship leader Michael Burgess would be joining them. His place in the 96 Chicago pneumatic car was taken by Derek Hayes, and as we join the race in the early stages, Hayes is in 5th place behind Roland Rayfeld, Anthony Swan, Stevie Hodgson and Ben Collins.
Look at this, a 3-car scrap now for 2nd, 3rd, 4th. It's a 4-car scrap down to 5th place, maybe even a 5-car scrap down to 6th.
What a move by Ben Collins up the inside of Stevie Hodgson, who gets a little bit leery as he comes through turn 4. That's going to put him into the hands of Rob Speak and Ollie Plale, and Speak is on the inside. He makes the capital move, and he will also follow through Derek Hayes. So great stuff all the way through the order. He doesn't get the power on though. Oh, nearly 3 wide there, Steve, in turn 2. Oh, I was reaching for the tissues because this could end in disaster. What a move from Speak. Well, here's the view from Rob Speak's car. You can see that Ollie Plale has the higher groove here. It's a 2-groove track. Bang! If you ain't rubbing, believe you me, you ain't racing.
And that is our man from Champ Car, Max Papis, having an absolutely brilliant race with car number 25.
He is having a brilliant race with 25, but the man who's brilliant is Ian McKellar Jr. That 25 car is flying. He puts Papis takes the place from Papis, and Speaky gets the nose to the inside of the 44, and he will surely now carry that momentum through. Meanwhile, we're 3 wide, and Speak makes it stick. Well, Steve, the man in the middle, that is the worst place you can be. You never want to hear you're 3 wide and you're in the middle from your spotter, because you're the one who's usually going to end up the centre of the carnage. But Rob Speak there, great class from that man. This is a fantastic 3-way battle for the lead. We've got Rayfelt, who had that engine problem, spun the car out of turn 4 in qualifying. They pass the back marker of John Stewart in the 75 car. They go high and low of Stewart, and does that present the opportunity for Hayes? He's sniffing around at the back there, Steve. He really wants that position, and it's all played into the hands of the great character Rob Speak.
Well, Rob Speak, you can see that 5 car now, the blue and white Learn Direct car closing in on the Chicago pneumatic Ford. But meanwhile, Ben Collins is keeping this lot battled up as Rob Speak takes a look down the inside. Not close enough yet, or is he? He's carrying the speed through the corner. It's going to be another of these races where you've got to have some discipline now. Derek Hayes can't close down on him, and that is exactly what Rob Speak set up. This really is the first race I've seen where Rob Speak really has demonstrated that he is a champ. And just look at that, he's making Ben Collins look slow.
He really does. Sorry, Steve. The excitement there as he went through turn 4. There is the Sharp being overtaken. It'll be an early bath for him, maybe. But the 96 stays in the wheel tracks of Ben Collins. And I think that will be Derek Hayes' strategy now. He'll try and close the gap in on Collins. But Collins looks really smooth. Watch his lines here. Gets those 2 wheels right down, just clips the white line. The drivers, remember, not allowed to go below that. And now Rob Speak wants the lead. He wants to lead a Days of Thunder race for the first time, and he might be about to do it.
Well, this is looking good, but Rob Speak is absolutely in a class of his own at the moment. But don't forget, this is all about preserving tyres. And just look at this, Rayfelt has a problem. Rayfelt is slowing, and that engine is sounding ragged and rough.
Our race leader comes down pit lane. He'll be in second gear, pulling about 2,400 revs. That will give him an average speed of around 50 miles an hour. That's the pit lane speed. He comes into the box, stops, over the wall they come, carrying those huge, great Hoosiers. Remember, all they can do is 3 men over the wall, the jackman, the rear and front tyre changer, and it's a real battle down in pit lane, because there's the other West Tech team on the 96 car.
Well, this is really where the race position can be set. And there, well, you can see Rob Speak there gets blocked in behind Derek Hayes, and this could give Derek Hayes the race position. They're literally racing on the pit lane speed limit of 50 miles an hour to that white line. Now they can accelerate, and Rob Speak had to be really aggressive to get the position.
Well, despite that fantastic teamwork from the West Tech pit crews, it was not to be for Derek Hayes. Slowing between turns 3 and 4, we later learned he'd brushed the wall. But into the last lap, Rob Speak had to defend his position from a charging Stevie Hodgson and Ben Collins. He was to hold on, though, to take his first ever Days of Thunder victory, much to the delight of his Learn Direct crew.
Well done, your first one. How do you feel?
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and you know, it was good, very good. Gavin and all the team and everyone have put a brilliant effort in, and you know, hopefully we'll give them something back.
Alas, those celebrations were to be short-lived. Alleged technical infringements for Speak and Hodgson saw Collins handed the win and a healthy championship lead. Well, for round 4, the teams made the journey into the heart of Europe to the impressive Euro Speedway facility in the former East Germany, located right between Berlin and Dresden. Unlike the 1.5 miles and the 4 corners of Rockingham, the Euro Speedway is 2 miles long and has just 3 corners. The race itself saw Anthony Swan sprint into the lead from his first Days of Thunder pole position. But the unfolding story was Ian McKellar Jr. in the blue and white 25 car. He started 15th after missing qualifying with drive shaft problems. So let's take a look at his progress from his onboard camera.
This was the race start, finding his way up onto that higher racing line. Problems there for Alessandro Lindsay, and that's already up into 12th place. Nice one, McKellar. Closing in now on Phil Weaver, trying to get his nose down the inside. Can he manage it? Well, not quite this time, but he can go round the outside, and that seems to be the secret of McKellar's success. He seems to have a car that works both on the inside and the outside racing lines. Back to the inside.
It also says a huge amount about the setup of that car, the way that he's got grip when he can run on the high side and the low side. Now his next target was Nicholas Leven. He got to the inside of him and was then charging down on his teammate John Mickle in the DSI AnyDoc 24 car.
Well, Mickle there, you can see, taking his line. Everybody now running in the draft, using the slipstream of the car in front to drag your nose closer to the tail in front. That is what calls running in the draft is about.
So the air is punched by John Mickle. Michele Jr. that moves down to the low side and makes the completion of the pass up to 9th with only 2 laps completed.
Who says you can't overtake in motor racing? This is absolutely fantastic stuff. Now up onto the tail of Stevie Hodgson and Colin White, 2 of the hardest racers in the game, and their history.
Next target was Rob Speake. Speakey was, I think, worrying about Andy Kirkcaldy up ahead of him. 3 laps completed to go from 15th to 6th place. What a performance by Michele Jr.
And here he is right on the tail of that number 7 car, Andrew Kirkcaldy. Tries the outside, tries the inside, and he's through.
Well, Mark Proctor is a very, nationalistic kind of guy, hence the Union flag on the back of his car. Michele Jr. though paying no respect to that at all, Steve. He dives to the inside to go 4th.
Well, that was Scotland 1, England 0. Now, how about number 96, the Flying Dutchman?
Well, the Dutch need to be dispatched, don't they? Or that's the view of Ian Michele Jr. anyway. Look how he keeps that car down. He's able to turn it in, hold a tighter line without losing any momentum. And from 15th place on the grid up to 3rd with just 17 laps completed. Ben Collins was our leader by the time everyone made their pit stops, ahead of teammate Swan. But at the other end of the pit lane, it was the 24 car of John Mickle who emerged ahead of Talkspeed teammate Ian Michele Jr. And both made it back onto the track ahead of the RML cars. And it wasn't long before Michele passed Mickle, drafting past on the long back straight into turn 2. 15th to 1st in just 28 laps. And despite a late race challenge from Collins, Michele held on for his first Days of Thunder victory, with Mickle dropping to 5th. Collins' second place saw him extend his championship lead, while Colin White proved the importance of consistency by slipping almost unnoticed into 2nd.
Ian, congratulations, how do you feel?
Yeah, so the team have done a mega job, the car was absolutely superb, and we come from the back of the grid, it's just everything was absolutely superb, it's brilliant.
Bev!
Kev! Bev!
Kev? Bev? Kev!
Bev! Kev!
With an AA car loan, the typical APR is just 6.6%, so you might surprise yourself with what you can afford.
Nice car.
Thanks! We used to have one of those.
To get more car for your money, just ask on 0800 374 999. Call now, and you could also get a free AA car inspection.
My parents worried about how tough I'd find it here, but Alphard Telecom helps me put their minds at rest, at least once every week.
Life's all about choices. Make the right one now and call 0800 915 3000 to open your Alpha Telecom account. There's no need to change your line, phone or number, and you can even use your mobile. Call now and choose the best payment option for you. Call 0800 915 3000 now. Alpha Telecom, the right choice for low-cost overseas calls.
Put a fruit spring in your step.
What's the difference? This one never runs out. Call Screwfix Direct on 08000 68 78 88 for your free catalogue. If it's in here, it's in stock. And with a superb range, you can bet you'll get what you're after. That's 08000 68 78 88. Call Screwfix Direct now. You'll save money and get exactly what you're looking for. Call now on 08000 68 78 88 for the real Screwfix difference.
You know, you really should get yourself a new Mint card. You get so much more. There's no good reason not to get one.
Trust me, I'd love to. It's just that, well, my hamster, he's a bit partial to the new ship.
Don't be ridiculous. It's got a brilliant rate. 0% until October on both new purchases and balance transfers.
Call them on 0800 10 20 20. The go-to rate is incredibly low too. It's just 10.9% APR. And when you use your card, you even get cash back on the stuff you buy. That's like getting money for nothing. Come on, give him a call on 0800 10 20 20.
Call 0800 10 20 20. Get more. Get Mint. You need a seriously good reason not to.
Norwich Union Direct. Norwich Union Direct. Sorry, it's a people carrier. 3 years, no claims. I'd like you to quote me happy. Yes. Did you hear that? It's great, isn't it? Yes.
Let Norwich Union Direct Car Insurance put a smile on your face. Call 0800 828 829 and let us quote you happy.
Your Wednesday evening lineup here on MotorsTV at 7 p.m. It's the AMA Superbike 2003 season review. Then at 9 it's a review of the World Superbike 2003 season. We then preview the 2004 Superbike season at 10. At 10:30 p.m. it's a WEC preview. And at 11 p.m. we celebrate the 40th anniversary of Ferrari's GTO.
Round 5 saw the teams back at Rockingham, and it was Ben Collins who took an early lead from John Mickle, but his advantage was wiped out when Tony King's Sharknose number 17 car hit the wall. We rejoin the action for the restart.
There is Big Matt with the green flags. A good clean start by everybody actually. Derek Hayes to the inside of Ian McKellar Jr. and Hayes will go into 5th as they go 3 wide almost through turn 1.
Fantastic stuff. Nice try, Derek. It was worth having a go. But a huge accident in the back of the field. 3 cars we can see. Another 2 involved a little further down the track. And Steve Hodgson taking a big hit into the wall there, tangling with the Colombian Alex Lindsay. But, well, there you can see the other 2 cars involved. John Stewart on the left of our screens. Car number 2, Sean Richardson, was on the right. And that is about one of the worst hits I've ever seen at Rockingham. Well, watch the bottom of your screens as the cars head through turn 1, and you'll see Alex Lindsay already spinning. He's being pushed by Ollie Playle in the Reebok car. More contact. That's Sean Richardson who takes out Stevie Hodgson as everything anchors up in front of him. And then John Stewart there doing a wall of death down the side of Sean Richardson's car. Watch the dark green car, far right of your screen, the 75 car there. Whoa! Well, let's have a look from Steve Hodgson's viewpoint, because he was in the number 6 car, really had the worst of it all here. Running behind the Union Jack there of Mark Proctor and the Fastech Chevrolet as they build up the power, start to accelerate. There's Alex Lindsay on the left of the screen, Colin White straight ahead of Stevie Hodgson, but this is where it all goes terribly wrong. Ollie Playle there just gets the nudge on the back of Lindsay. He's hit from behind, and that was a very, very big impact. Actually lifted the tape off the camera head.
As the leader Ben Collins brings them down, we go on board with John Mickle. 2 outside tyres. Now Mickle needs to get it into the box cleanly with a good clean stop. Oh, and he slid through almost. No, he's managed to bring it to a stop. Over the wall they come. Meanwhile, Virgin, now the Westech crew have been absolutely lightning quick.
Now watch out here though for the 84 car. They have lost races on pit stops recently. This team's one of the slickest, but that slide by John Mickle will have moved everybody along, and it has cost them time on that front wheel air jack. Let's have a look. Mickle is motoring, so is Michael Burgess. There's Nicholas Leven stationary. It's John Mickle in the 24 car, then Burgess. The recovery truck squeeze up against the wall as it's still on its way to pick up damaged cars. But Michael Burgess is the man who will head the field back out onto track. John Mickle in 2nd place. Now it's the Ford Taurus versus the 2 Chevrolet Monte Carlos, and those 2 DSI Anydoc Chevrolets are once again on the attack. John Mickle gets the run out of turn 3 this time. That forces Burgess down on the inside line. Mickle's going to try and go high, wide and handsome, but it's not going to work.
He does though cut back to the inside. That was a great move. He feinted to the outside. Has he got the momentum now down into turn 1? He's on the inside and he'll make the move. Can McKellar follow through? No, he can't. He's dropped back. Although on the exit of turn 1, Junior goes to the inside, but look who's there in the mix, the championship leader in the 84 car. But McKellar Junior goes double wide in turn 2 with Verges. He goes to the inside and surely he'll do the move at turn 4. He's got the inside line. Verges will try and hold him off on the high side.
Well, this is brilliant stuff, and you can see McKellar Jr. now has the inside line into turn 1. This is where he should be able to get the speed up, but Verges carries the speed. Brilliant stuff by Michael Verges. Now just look at this side by side. They've been side by side for 3 corners now. Is this the corner McKellar can make it stick? Oh, maybe not. Verges, I've never seen such determination in any driver. Look at the windscreen on Ben Collins' car. It's pumping in the air turbulence from the draft of the cars in front. That really is a sign of the cars on the limit. This is absolutely brilliant. This is what Days of Thunder Racing's all about. And again, McKellar makes a move. Verges says, oh no, you're not. I've got the track.
Brilliant stuff, and it doesn't stop there. Battles further down as well.
Well, this is Rob Speak and Derek Hayes. Fantastic battle. Derek Hayes driving as hard as that Pontiac Grand Prix will go. And a brush there for number 5, Rob Speak. And that is about as close as it gets. Was that a tyre?
I think it might be a wheel bearing, Steve, from where it's coming from. It's coming from the left front corner. It could be engine, but certainly the left corner there, just smoke billowing from that front left corner. Michael Verges, meantime, still trying to hold off the attentions. Now, of course, Mike Verges is teammate to Rob Speak. McKellar Jr., meanwhile, it's all happening. We can't keep up with this, for heaven's sake. Too much going on.
Ian McKellar Jr. really motoring now, and he's got the run on his teammate John Mickle, and it's McKellar Jr. into the lead. The 2001 ASCAR champion John Mickle has to settle for second best, but tucks back into the slipstream.
Ben Collins hasn't given up on a podium spot either. He wants the 3rd place away from Michael Verges, the championship leader in the 84 car. Michael Verges in... Oh, Mickle loses it! Mickle loses it in turn 4! Unbelievable stuff. John Mickle went for the lead and he's chucked it at the wall. Well, let's take a look. Here we are riding on board with John Mickle. Gets to the inside, gets down on the apron. That's what did it. Oh, he nearly caught it, and then a big impact into that wall. That is not good news at all.
But there's John Mickle, takes the applause of the crowd as his teammate Ian McKellar Jr. takes the checkered flag.
We had a win in Germany. We were struggling with the car yesterday in qualifying, so we got a race set up on the car and it worked. And also the pit stop was amazing. We picked up 2 places in the pits, which really helped us. It put us two cars up the grid. And DSI Chevrolet is just excellent. At last 2 races has been superb.
Well, 175 points for that win moves Ian McKellar Jr. up to 3rd in the championship behind Colin White, but still 140 points ahead. It's Ben Collins.
Round 6 didn't last very long for Nicholas Loven in the 42 car. His spin at the end of lap 1 also took out Alex Lindsay in the number 4. As we can see from the onboard camera, the Colombian was left with nowhere to go when Loven started drifting back up the track. The next driver to hit trouble was race leader Ian McKellar Jr., who spun and hit the wall at turn 4 when the bonnet flew off his number 25 car. The Talk Speed crew are ready with a new bonnet taken from teammate John Mickle's car and plenty of gaffer tape to make a hasty repair. But a few laps later, the new bonnet went the same way as the old one, and McKellar Jr. completed the race without a bonnet. Approaching half distance, Michael Verges in number 96 was leading, but under intense pressure from Derek Hayes in the number 68 McDonald's car.
And we're coming up very close indeed to that pit stop window, the critical time when the outside tyres will get changed.
Yeah, more than that, Steve. We've hit the pit stop window, and these two have decided to pit on the 2nd lap by the looks of things. We're on lap 29. Roland Rayfelt is in. There's the HTML team giving him service in his pit box. In front of him, Kevin Clark and the Intersport boys pull in. Now, what is going to happen here? Because traditionally and historically, we found out that the guys pitting on the 2nd lap actually come off worse. So this is going to be fascinating to see. And in fact, they've missed them. They've not turned in. They've not stopped.
Oh boy, this is 2001 all over again for Michael Burgess. He lost the ASCAR Days of Thunder Championship then by missing a pit window and getting black flag. Ben Collins in right at the last possible moment here, and again, a late pit stop usually is a call that loses your time.
Absolutely right. Well, Ben Collins is in that time. What is going to happen here then? Michael Burgess and Derek Hayes are heading to the pit stalls in their pit lane, but we're now on lap 33, so this is just amazing.
Well, I think maybe, don't forget, Derek Hayes has done a race for a little while. The team haven't really been used to running him in this Team McDonald's racing car, and I'm just wondering whether they have just been following on the tail of Michael Burgess, thinking that the Team Westtech guys will know what they're doing. Westtech have made a mistake. It's carried down the line. Oh, it is getting fairly tight stuff now, because Michael Burgess is absolutely desperate to get to that pit box, get those tyres changed, and get back out on track. There's the 68 McDonald's car, and I think that smoke was coming out of Derek Hayes in the driver's seat.
It wouldn't surprise me. I think you're right, yeah, maybe they were just battling so hard that the team were distracted somehow, although Gavin's normally spot on with his crews in terms of getting them in and out. Well, there is the 68 car. Derek Hayes pulls away. Burgess will beat him out, so it's a superior stop on this occasion by the Westtech boys, because remember, Burgess had to come all the way down to the end of the pit lane.
But now that is the penalty flag for stopping outside of your sequence, and like I said, it's like the end of the 2001 season all over again. Then Michael Burgess got the same penalty, and that lost him the championship to John Mickle.
Roland Rayfelt. Now where is Rayfelt?
He is heading back to his garage. He brought the car down into pit road. There is obviously something wrong with it, and he has just doubled it round the wall. Burgess heads into pit lane. Ben Collins moves through on the outside and takes the race lead. Well, Ben Collins has it all to lose passing the slower cars. Mark Proctor, frankly, can take full advantage. Oh! And he was offline there through turn 2, kissed the wall. Now that's what they call a sticker rub. Has it damaged the car? Has it damaged the tyres for Ben Collins? It certainly gave him a scare and lost him some momentum, and Mark Proctor saw that. Let's have another look at that. Just drifts up to the wall there. You can see the marks have been left by other cars. And again, let's take another look. Riding with Ben Collins, forced offline. Bam! And it's moved our camera. That is how hard he hit the wall.
That wasn't a sticker rub, that was an absolute annihilation of the side of that car.
Well, I'll tell you what, Juice Racing, RML and the Team TA guys seem to have crossed that car with a challenge attack, because it seems to be able to hit anything and keep going.
Phil Weaver there in the yellow and blue car, the back marker. Ben Collins has to navigate past him, and Proctor looks like he might just have the better line here. They go double wide across the start-finish line to complete another lap. The team in the pits go mad. It's Proctor's mum and dad's ruby wedding anniversary today. What a gift to them. Sensational stuff.
Oh, this is what Days of Thunder racing is all about. Now Mark Proctor is bottled in behind Phil Weaver. Oh, Phil goes low trying to make room for him. Doesn't realise Mark had already taken that option. It's going to be Dodgems now at 170 miles an hour, because Mark Proctor's got Ben Collins closing back in on him. It's going to be yet another place changer. Now Proctor's taken the low line into turn 4. Can Collins go all the way around the outside? No, he switches back into the slipstream, and he's making another move, trying to go outside of Proctor again. But Proctor holds on across the line.
And look at the team, they are beside themselves with pure adrenaline, nervous energy, and anything else you want to throw in there as well.
But Ben Collins hasn't given up yet. Look at him again, rubbing the wall through turn 2 into turn 3. This is the fastest part of the circuit. Speed up to 170 miles an hour. These guys are averaging 150. Watch out now as they come up to the line. You'll see the white flag wave. Just 1.5 miles of Rockingham to go. Everybody's on their feet. All, well, 36,000 people, 72,000 eyes, give or take 1 or 2. They are watching 2 cars on track.
This is just incredible. We've had some great races here at the Rock, but this takes the absolute biscuit, and the barrel as well. Mark Proctor down on the low line. Ben Collins hunting left, hunting right, stealthing him down, tracking him down. Surely the move has to come in turn 4. He sets him up,
and it's going to go, because watch this, he's carried the speed through 3 into 4. They're going to run side by side. Oh boy, leave each other room here, because this is right on the limit. The checkered flag wave. Oh, contact and a spin from Proctor. He takes the checkered flag in the wall. Ben Collins, a nose ahead, takes the victory. But what a finale to round 6 of Days of Thunder. I have never seen a finish ever like that in any motor race anywhere in the world. The crowd are roaring on Proctor, but that will not take away the disappointment. Well, Ben Collins' victory gives him a 178-point lead in the provisional point standing from Colin White, with Michael Burgess still there in third. And that result could have been very different, because don't forget Burgess had that black flag.
The cars were obviously running very close, but I was ahead at the time and I won the race, so that's cool.
I got Ben fair and square in my view. You know, I covered the inside line in the last turn, which is common sense racing. Ben was coming on the outside. My dad, who's spotting for me, told me he was on the outside. I give him space. I'm absolutely over the moon with second, but you know, when I've been searching for my first ASCAR win for 4 years, myself, James, my dad, you know, working through the night to get there, it's just disappointing when it was mine. That was my race, and I feel it was taken away from me. But you know, I'm not going to be bitter. That's racing. It is a tough deal sometimes. I'm over the moon with second.
This spin into the turn 3 wall was the end of round 7 for Ollie Playle in the green and black Reebok 26 car. And up at the front, Derek Hayes was under attack from Ben Collins.
New race leader Ben Collins and Michael Burgess through. Derek Hayes has got a problem. He's down into third and he's slipping back.
The pack is absolutely blasting past Derek Hayes, although now he seems to have picked up momentum, but Burgess capitalising on that, although not able to complete the move. I'll tell you another guy to watch, Steve, is Sean Richardson. There he is in the 2 car to the inside of Rob Speake. Anthony Swan collects Speake! Oh, and Rob Speake rotates through 180 degrees. A big impact with the wall.
Well, that was a very hard impact into the wall there for Rob Speake, spinning out at turn 4, 140 miles an hour, backwards, eating concrete.
Well, let's just check out what happened. Anthony Swan seems to drive into the back of him, collects the back end. I suspect that Rob was off the power there. That's what might have caught Anthony out. But nevertheless, Rob Speake, that looks like that's going to be the end of his day. Meantime, here's another view from it.
Well, there you can see the touch on the back of the car, straight into the wall. There we see the eye view from Mark Proctor. Yellow flags, of course, and Rob Speake out of the car, inspecting the damage. Well, Andrew Kirkcaldy's pit crew there from the XL team run around the outside of the car. One jackman jacks the car up. The other guys go onto the 5 wheel nuts per wheel. There's Ben Collins' guys from Team TA, and that's the Chicago Pneumatic Westech crew for Michael Burgess.
It is a real struggle here, isn't it? Because the pressure is on these crews to really get their man turned around. Historically, the Westech boys have been quickest, so we'll look for Burgess, or will it be Kirkcaldy? Kirkcaldy's down first, but he's further down the pit road.
Well, yes, he started a little bit earlier on that pit stop, though. There is Nicholas Leven's 42 car there, already going through its pit stop. It's Michael Burgess, and they're changing spark plug leads on Derek Hayes' car. That's what it was, an electrical misfire. They're changing the plug leads.
Desperation for Derek Hayes, but the HTML team will get that McDonald 68 back out, and it was Burgess who got the drop, and Ben Collins says, no, it was me, and Michael wags his finger and says, don't you go past me or we'll have words.
Well, the reason for that is yellow flags, no overtaking allowed, as they still recover the wrecked cars of Rob Speake and number 77, Phil Weaver, after that incident. Derek Hayes is at least back in the race, the initial race leader. Lap 36, and the battle is on between number 7, Andrew Kirkcaldy, number 25, Ian McKellar Jr., and he is determined to find his way past. You know, that 25 car is looking the fastest car on the track at the moment.
I'd agree with that totally. McKellar Jr.'s brought that through from middle of the pack, started around about 10th, 11th, 12th in that order at the start of this race, but he's picked off places and he's gone, but they're double wide with Kirkcaldy, and of course these two really have raced hard during the early stage of this race. As we get into the closing third of the race, Roland Rayfeld looks to try and get on terms, pick up some pieces too.
Well, Roland Rayfeld really is picking up the pieces nicely from a very slow start to this race and a slow pit stop, don't forget. Great battles all the way down the field. Derek Hayes has obviously got the legs back on the McDonald's car as well after changing the spark plug leads to cure the misfire. He's closing in on the battle between Colin White and number 2 Sean Richardson, who for me is the discovery of the championship.
Totally agree. He's been spectacular here, has Sean Richardson. He's really brought that. Oh no, we've done it to him. As soon as we start to pay him compliments, Sean Richardson down at turn 2, spins around through 360 degrees, but what a save!
You know, with a catch like that, he should be with the England cricket team. Let's take another look at that. You can see they're trying to hold the inside line through turn 2. He's taking a radius that the tyre grip just won't let him do. But this was truly amazing. Just watch the way he controlled that car while it was running backwards at nearly 150. Now, riding with Derek Hayes, he's right on the tail of him again. You can see the car just starting to break away there. Derek Hayes doing a great job on the outside. The green flag waves, and Michael Verges, and a tag maybe on the back of the 25 car there. Ian McKellar Jr. is in the wall, and it is precipitating a huge pile-up down at turn 1. Swan, the 44 car there, there's the 17 car, sparks flying under Derek Hayes. Well, that car's looking like a Mac Banana at this point. And 3 cars stationary, the most heavily damaged there, the 25 car of Ian McKellar Jr.
Watch the white car as it clatters into the rear of the 25 car. Looked like Ian McKellar Jr. got going, and he certainly did get going into the wall when Kirkcaldy tapped him up the rear.
Well, a heavy impact here. Let's have a look from Andrew Kirkcaldy's viewpoint. Running in there for the green flag. Did they get their timing just slightly wrong? Let's have a look. Oh, and bam, lifts the back wheels of the 25 car clean off the ground. Well, I know Andrew Kirkcaldy pretty well, and I'm pretty sure he would not do a move like that. Well, there's the hand signal. It says it all. Sorry, guys.
Well, Derek Hayes was caught up in that incident as well, left with nowhere to go. That's going to be a huge disappointment for the HTML team. Let's take a look at it from Derek's point of view. There he is in the red and yellow car, gets the inside of Colin White. It's all now happening up in front of him. He goes low and just steers himself straight into Anthony Swan, and that's a huge impact to the inside wall. The great news is we get that Derek is fine, and in fact everybody involved in that incident is fine. This is the view that Derek had. Let's ride on board with him and listen to the clatter.
Well, we're coming up to a 3-lap sprint to the checkered flag. It's red hot down on the track. Ben Collins, though, holds the race lead. Roland Rayfeld, Colin White, and once again we've got spinners. Anthony Swan, well, he's had more spins than my washing machine.
And that's on 1100 cycles a minute, isn't it? Or something like that. Yellow flags. Tony the Shark King manages to keep it out the wall yet again. Here's what happened. Well, we'll join it as Tony's already facing the wrong way. Did he jump or was he pushed? That is the question we'll be asking.
Well, you know, Anthony Swan there did an equally good job keeping that off the wall, and that really wasn't his accident, I don't think. Let's have a look. Anthony Swan going down the inside of Tony King. Well, maybe it was his shunt. Big spin there, big squeal of tyres, lucky escape.
1 lap to go, the white flag is held aloft. That's the indication there is 1 lap shootout here, 1.5 miles to go, and we are going to go green, and Verges really has it all to do to keep everyone behind him.
Well, look at Ben Collins, because he's in the worst place of all. Second place, he can't attack, but Roland Rayfeld can. An awesome move down on the white line at 130 miles an hour on the flat bit of the track, and he's got the bite to get into that second place. Ben Collins trying to do the same to him down to turn 2, and Colin White's coming through into that third place. The man that's going backwards for Christmas is Ben Collins.
Unbelievable stuff. Collins has lost 3 places there. Roland Rayfeld, what a restart from him. Proctor and Collins together on the track. That's not good after what happened in round 6. But we head towards the checker for Verges.
And it's Michael Verges heading for the checkered flag. A dramatic finale to round 7 of Days of Thunder.
Quite incredible stuff, and he does go for it. Colin White now 3rd in the championship behind Ben Collins and Michael Verges. Roland Rayfeld's 4th and Ian McKellar Jr. up to 5th.
The early stages of round 8 brought a familiar sight, the 42 car in trouble on the main straight. For this race, Chris Cook was at the wheel of the Texaco Haviline machine, replacing an unwell Nicholas Leven. The yellow flags came out while the car limped back to the pits. We'll rejoin the race for the restart.
There's Michael Verges with Andrew Kirkcaldy right on his tail as they take the green flag to go racing. Coming up to half distance, Mark Proctor in 3rd place. Ben Collins makes his move into turn 1, down the inside of Colin White and into 4th place. And back onto Proctor's tail.
Well, listen, we talk about spotters in the race. They're up in the grandstand at the back, and they're always giving encouragement to the drivers.
Stay on it, Colin. Come on now, get on it. Good man, that's it. Stay on it. I'll tell you when you're clear. Stay on it, stay on it. You're clear, clear, clear. You're clear.
There you go, that's Dave. Colin White, spotter. Colin White in the turquoise car at the head of this field, but behind him, look at the progress that's been made by Roland Rayfeld in that red and orange car, but Verges is the man at the moment.
Well, Verges is out in front, Andrew Kirkcaldy in second place, Mark Proctor in third, but there is the orange and white car now up onto the tail of Ben Collins. And don't forget, Roland Rayfeld has come from last place in this race. That's awesome. Number 2 behind him there, Sean Richardson, running very well. Kieran Dines, the man who went out and tested in America in the NASCAR Busch Series, but this really is his first experience of Rockingham.
It is, and we're getting ready for pit stops, and Verges and Kirkcaldy are going to stay out. They can change tyres on 1 of 2 laps. This is the first lap. The option is taken up by Mark Proctor, leading Colin White, and behind him Rayfeld comes in, and Colin White almost misses the pit lane entrance.
Well, that was real on the limit stuff as Mark Proctor slowed for the pit lane speed limit, caught Colin White out, but 3 cars still out on track. They're going to come in a lap later. There's Michael Verges, Andrew Kirkcaldy, and Ben Collins is the 3rd car still out on track.
There is Mark Proctor. He's pitting a box that is down the far end of the pit lane, nearer to turn 1. Behind him, Anthony Swan. The 42 of Chris Cook comes down. They'll work on that 12 car. A good pit stop here could really do them some favours, particularly with the other 2, the 1st and 2nd place cars, staying out.
Well, you know, staying out on track could be a good move here because there's going to be less congestion for these 3, although Ben Collins finds his windscreen full of Andrew Kirkcaldy and Michael Verges. Everybody has to slow down to that pit lane speed limit. Meanwhile, Mark Proctor gets back out on track. He is going to be the first man out of the pit lane by the look of it. John Stewart heads out of the pit lane as other cars come in. It's getting to be a busy place out there. There's Mark Proctor, 1 car out ahead of him, and there is Michael Verges from the race lead into the pits now. Oh, and just look at the back of the bonnet, right in front of the windshield. There is smoke rising there, and that doesn't look like steam. That is smoke coming from under the engine. There's a fire in the hole.
Fire in the hole indeed. Well, I'm sure Michael is on the radio telling the guys. I agree with you, Steve. That looks definitely like smoke. But meantime, Andrew Kirkcaldy will hold that position from Ben Collins. Does Verges get out? He's still there.
Well, Verges is stationary. This is effectively Kirkcaldy and Ben Collins going for the race lead. There, they're tearing the hood off the car. There is something wrong. It looks like a wiring fire. Now, have the 2 cars got out of the pit lane ahead of this pack that came in a lap earlier? They're running at racing speed. Look at the pit lane. Alex Lindsay is leaving. Flames in the engine bay for Michael Verges. That really has ruined any chance of a race victory here. Oh, and a fire extinguisher in the face.
But meanwhile, we're on lap 38 here. Alex Lindsay has got to the inside of Anthony Swan, side by side. Oh, Lindsay backs out of it, and ahead of them, of course, is Colin White. This is all bottling up very, very worryingly.
Well, Alex Lindsay really having to learn to race in the traffic here and pushing very hard. Anthony Swan, don't forget, was the rookie find of the year last year in the Lego Racers car. Really a bit disappointed with his performance so far this way. Alex Lindsay very, very quick on the track and certainly capable of hustling here Colin White in the 78 car. But the question is, can he hold it together for a whole race? Because Lindsay has had problems about seeing that checkered flag. Now, Anthony Swan gets right under his tail there. Fantastic racing here. Swan, White, oh! And Lindsay is spinning.
Oh, he clobbers the wall, Alex Lindsay. I think that might have been just what we call aero push. The 4 car there gets behind the 78. Well, my word. Well, let's take a closer look at that, shall we, Steve? See if we can work out what happens. I wonder if there was contact from Anthony Swan here. Oh, well, maybe he just pushed the air from his front bumper onto the rear bumper of Lindsay. That certainly unsettled the 4 car, and he was trying not to get into Colin White, I think.
Well, you know, Colin White did a great job of keeping his foot down there and keeping out of trouble. And, well, there you can see Lindsay hits the wall very hard indeed. But let's have another listen to Colin White's spotter. All this was going on, of course, with Colin White on the outside of this, and his spotter was keeping him well informed.
Car low. Too low. 2 cars low. You okay? Whoa, you're taking a bad. Stay on it, Cole, stay on it. Clear, he's gone, he's in the wall.
Meanwhile, Andrew Kirkcaldy, the race leader, is slowing and heading for pit lane. Yet more drama.
Unbelievable stuff. We're ready for the restart here. Lap 43 of 60. There is the green flag, and Ben Collins gets the foot down. What about Sean Richardson, who has really thundered through from the back, along with Roland Rayfeld in 4th, but now Richardson under pressure from Proctor.
Well, Mark Proctor, don't forget, has 2 years more experience of this than Sean Richardson. We spoke to Sean, of course, before this race, and he is absolutely loving his rookie season, but he's got Roland Rayfeld now following through, and I think that is a good move. Such a disappointment, though, for the number 7 car, Andrew Kirkcaldy, losing the race lead, and Ben Collins now starting to run away at the head of all of this again.
Roland Rayfeld, though, is a man on a mission, charging his way through, like you say, from the back of the field. Richardson can do nothing to hold off his challenge, but can Rayfeld now get on terms with that blue 12 car? I don't know what they've done to that Fastech Motorsport prepared car of Mark Proctor's, but he and his team and James and all the guys have done a fantastic job in getting all of that prepared.
Well, Mark Proctor's car running very strongly in second place, but is being caught by this man, Roland Rayfeld. You can just see the extra speed that HTML Pontiac is carrying through the corners there. But a black flag, and that flag is out for Michael Vergers. The dramas continue.
We're on lap 58, we're on our way towards what will be the white flag now for our race leader. There is the white flag. Mark Proctor takes that in second place, so it's now going to be just under it. Well, by the time they get into turn 2, it'll be a mile to the finish. Oh!
And that's Tony King in the wall, and the race is going to be settled in disorder. There's the white flag, still showing 1 lap to go. Tony King's not going to see the checkered flag, though. This man most definitely will. Ben Collins, well, it's been a bit of good luck on his side, a bit of good strategy, but the result is still the same. After 60 laps of racing, it's Ben Collins once again taking the checkered flag.
Fantastic work by Collins and the team from RML, and look at Sean Richardson coming home behind Roland Rayfeld. The championship points now look like this. Ben leads Michael by 195, 10 points separate second and third, but Mark Proctor is the biggest gainer. He moves from 8th to 5th.
So as Mark Proctor, Colin White and Ben Collins celebrate after round 8, there are just 5 more races to go in the 2003 Days of Thunder series. Join us after the break for those.
Are you a homeowner who could benefit from an Ocean Finance loan? Perhaps by reducing your monthly outgoings by consolidating existing debts, home improving, or simply treating yourself to whatever you have in mind. Many already have.
We consolidated 23 debts.
I saw the advert, I saw people who looked like I was in my situation, looked like honest, normal people, not actors.
We put the floor in, we knocked some walls down, we put some doors in.
And what was really nice was when we paid everything off, we had enough money left to go on a family holiday, which was something we hadn't done for a while.
It was as though a great weight had been lifted, and I had the first good night's sleep in I don't know how many months.
Ocean consider all circumstances and rates are competitive. So for that homeowner loan of up to £100,000, call us now on 0800 916 9190 or apply online at oceanfinance.co.uk.
You know, you really should get yourself a new Mint card. You get so much more. There's no good reason not to get one.
Trust me, I'd love to. It's just that, well, my hamster, he's a bit partial to the new ship.
Don't be ridiculous. It's got a brilliant rate. 0% until October on both new purchases and balance transfers. Call them on 0800 10 20 20. The go-to rate is incredibly low too. It's just 10.9% APR. And when you use your card, you even get cash back on the stuff you buy. That's like getting money for nothing. Come on, give them a call on 0800 10 20 20.
Call 0800 10 20 20. Get more. Get Mint. You need a seriously good reason not to.
Has your car insurance gone up this year? Yeah, I bet it has. With elephant.co.uk, you could save loads. I did. You see, elephant.co.uk are the first internet-only insurer, which means their costs are lower, which means you could save even more money on your car insurance. So check out elephant.co.uk now. It's simple, it's easy, it's fast. It's elephant.co.uk. Remember, elephant.co.uk. Check it out.
NASN, dedicated to the best in North American sports with live coverage of Major League Baseball, NASCAR, the NHL, college basketball, college football, and now the NFL, with a comprehensive lineup of daily news, previews, highlights, and reviews from across the conferences. To subscribe to NASN, call 087-08-50-3030 or visit our website at nasn.com.
The next edition of Maxi Test is loaded with some of the most advanced road cars available on the new car market. For example, the Volvo V50 all-wheel drive, the awesome Porsche 911 Carrera RS convertible. Oh yes, there's also the Audi A3, the Mercedes Class C 55 AMG, and the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8. That's Maxi Test, bringing you up to speed. Maxi Test, Thursday, February the 26th from 9 p.m. on Motors TV.
There is a special bonus for fans attending round 9 of the Days of Thunder series, the annual race between the Minardi Formula One team's fleet of two-seater cars. Title contender Roland Rayfeld's 69 car sported a new livery for the weekend in honour of new rock sensations The Darkness. Band members enjoyed a trip around in a Days of Thunder two-seater before playing a spectacular concert. We joined the race just before half distance.
Ben Collins still holding on that fragile lead at the head of the field from Roland Rayfeld. Colin White in the 78 car still in third place ahead of Anthony Swan and the number 5 car of Rob Speak. But just look at the damage on the side of the Swede, Nicholas Leven's car. There's sparks and flames going on down underneath that bodywork. He has been in the wall hard.
Now, what has he been up to then? Damage to the side of the 42 car. I suspect that might be the end of their day. Smoke coming out, dust of course coming out. The team will come across with their air guns. 3 men allowed across the wall, that's all. Wheel nuts flying. I'll try and get some fresh rubber on there and get him back out, I think.
Well, you know, they may hold him because this is now the start of the official pit stop window. And the first man in, Roland Rayfeld, second place man. That means Ben Collins is elected to stay out on track. He is going to get a lap with a clear track. That may well work to his benefit.
Yeah, but I'm not sure about that, you know. Most times we see that the guys that come in on the second lap are the ones that come off worse in these pit stops. But here come the HTML boys, the Darkness car about to be shot with some new rubber.
Well, there's the new rubber going on. The Jackmen working very hard indeed. 5 wheel nuts per wheel, don't forget, on these cars. This isn't a Formula One pit stop. Meanwhile, Colin White leaves the pit lane. Whoa, and it's getting crowded out there. There's Ollie Plale on his way into the pits. Oh, and a little nudge there, but watch Colin White at the bottom of your screens. Has he got track position on the way out of the pit lane? Let's hear his spotter.
Get on it, you're in the lead, you're in the lead, you're in the lead. Stay on it, get on it.
Dave Brown, ever encouraging for Colin White. Hope he hasn't violated the pit speed limit there, but Ben Collins is in, was the leader now. Here's the issue, can he get out? He's coming on the second lap. They're allowed to come in on 1 of 2 laps to change 2 outside tyres. Remember, 3 men over the wall, 2 guys changing wheels, 1 on the jack. There's the air gun being pulled back by one of the team members on the safe side of the wall, and Ollie Plale's got out ahead, but of course he came in on the first lap. Here come the leaders, Steve.
Well, Ollie Plale effectively a lap down. There is race leader Colin White coming through turn 4. Now Ben Collins has to build up speed and get back out onto track. You know, I think Ben Collins has done it. He's out of the pit lane, he's up to turn 2. He is motoring.
I agree with you, Steve. He has got out. There is Roland Rayfeld. He's lying in third place after having made his stop. Up ahead of him, Colin White in second place. But there's the gap all the way across there to Ben Collins.
And this is the battle for second place. And Colin White has been caught by the flying Roland Rayfeld. The Darkness car, car 69, down the inside. But Colin White is not giving away. This is brilliant stuff. 2 whole laps of wheel-to-wheel racing.
And Colin White's the master of this. He'll hang it out on the outside there as long as he can. Can he get the grip out of turn 4 where it's a smoother exit?
Just look at the top of the pit garages, Paul. The Minardi Formula 1 team are up there en masse. They just cannot believe what they're seeing. They certainly don't see this in Formula 1.
Oh, poor Colin White has to drop in behind Roland Rayfelt. Brilliant stuff from Rayfelt. He was on the title line, but even more so from Colin White.
Well, let's have another look at this. Colin White there going high, wide and handsome, but the man with the speed, Roland Rayfelt, just getting the run.
Absolutely brilliant stuff from Rayfelt. We're on lap 39 in this 9th round of the Days of Thunder series, and there is Andy Smith with Alex Lindsay, the Colombian, behind him.
Well, the 79 car of Andy Smith, World Stock Car Champion, is about to be lapped by Alex Lindsay, and about to lap both of them is the race leader, Ben Collins. There's absolutely no matching the pace of the Team TA car, but he's got to work his way through this traffic ahead of him.
My word, it's all getting a bit tight down there. Andy Smith gets through. Lindsay will go high and wide from Phil Weaver, and hopefully there's enough room. Oh my word! Now what was Chris doing? Phil Weaver's spotter should have been telling him Lindsay's outside. That's really arrested his progress.
Well, it's more than arrested his progress, because Lindsay's dropped right off the pace there, and I think that Lindsay actually managed to clatter the wall there, and there may be debris on track down at turn 2. Let's see what the marshals think of that, because Lindsay, well, he's got his pace back now, but that was a really scary moment.
Yeah, I just want to defend Phil Weaver there. He can't see a thing behind him and around him. He's relying on the eyes up in the stand.
Well, there is the yellow flag. The officials certainly do agree that there might be debris from this. Now, well, I tell you what, if Lindsay didn't put it in the wall, he got about as close as anyone ever can. Let's have another look.
Yeah, this is riding on board with Alex Lindsay. Here's the wall coming. Oh, pushed along the thin button. Just about made it.
You know, that had to be the narrowest Days of Thunder racing car that is out there on the track. Meanwhile, plenty of support for Ben Collins, race leader, as he goes for the restart.
We are green, 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 13 laps remaining, and Ben Collins has the advantage, but Roland Rayfelt will be delighted on the fact that he has managed to now pull back the leader, but Colin White under pressure for third.
Well, tremendous battling all the way up and down the order. Anthony Swan putting the pressure on Colin White for that third place. It looks like Swan's made that one stick. A little bit further behind, tremendous battle going on for 6th place with Michael Burgess and the number 2 car of Sean Richardson. And then, well, it's all 3 wide here ahead of that pack as well.
Ian McKellar Jr., what a move. He came from the back of Anthony Swan and puts himself up a position. He now will chase down Colin White, and the battle still rages for Sean Richardson.
Well, let's have a listen to Neil Hurl, the spotter for that car number 2. He'll be telling Sean exactly what is going on where he can't see.
Car low, stay high, car low, still there, car low, you're clear.
That's the words you want to hear when you're in the car. Oh, and Andy Smith and Andrew Kirkcaldy. Well, Andrew Kirkcaldy is on the lead lap, but the 79 and the 4 and the 5 of Rob Speaker, 1 lap down, they're embroiled in all sorts of battles of their own as well.
Well, you know what, this is the 7 car of Andrew Kirkcaldy's entire troubles. Went very quickly in this early stage of the stint. He's worn his tyres out for some reason faster than the other cars. He's slipping back. No problems here, though, at the head of the order. Ben Collins is still being hunted down by Roland Rayfelt. The question is, which of these 2 drivers has the most left in the car? Meanwhile, this fantastic 3-way scrap keeps going on and on.
I hope somebody's told Andrew Kirkcaldy not to worry about the 2 behind him, and he could just let them go and he'd still be in the right position. But this battle out front is terrific with Collins and Rayfelt. But here's Rob Speak going to the inside of, oh, it's all a bit tight down there. Oh, don't tighten it up too much, Rob. Side by side, brilliant stuff.
Well, you know, that 12th place there is worth fighting for. Don't forget, points and prize fund down to 16th place in Days of Thunder.
Massive $1 million prize fund these guys are fighting out for during the course of the 2003 season. 2 laps remaining. This is the shootout, and Colin White and Anthony Swan are locked horns.
Brilliant stuff here. This is the battle for 3rd place. Another battle going on ahead of them. Just 3 miles of the Rockingham Oval left to go. Anthony Swan gets his nose alongside Colin White, and just look at that number 2 car, Sean Richardson, once again on a brilliant charge, and it's going to be 3 wide into the start of the last lap.
4th, 5th and 6th places you're watching here. Oh, I hope everybody can find a bit of track to play on. Anthony Swan gets up the higher side, and they're 3 wide through 4.
Oh, poor old Anthony Swan, he's been bundled down to the tail end of that pack. White flag being shown, so 1 lap to go. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th places. Ahead of them, Collins and Rayfelt still fighting it out for the lead.
Michael Burgess came out of that brilliantly. Let's just ride on board with him. Here he goes to the inside of Anthony Swan. There on the inside of him is trouble. He's trying to keep to the high side of the wall. That will give him the momentum and hopefully carry him through turn 1, which it did, and they're still at it, these, as we go to the checkered flag. Ben Collins takes a fantastic victory ahead of Roland Rayfelt. Ian McKellar Jr. comes through for 3rd, and what a scrap for 4th place. How about that?
Well, Collins is extending his championship lead, but just look at the battle for 2nd and 3rd. Equal for 3rd, and Verge is just 3 points ahead of him. It can't get much closer.
Next came a second visit to Germany. Practice had only just started when previous Euro Speedway winner Ian McKellar Jr. was sidelined when this happened. Also back in the pits was Alex Lindsay after the low sun caught him out. McKellar's car would be repaired for the race, but Lindsay was not well enough to compete. At 1/5 distance, local hero Roland Rayfelt led from Ben Collins, with CWS teammates Colin White and Andy Smith 3rd and 4th. McKellar Jr. is already up to 7th, just behind Andrew Kirkcaldy and Mark Proctor.
You see the leader down in the bottom left-hand corner, Roland Rayfelt. We're right on board now with the man really on the charge. He started at the back of the grid. Ian McKellar Jr. in the 25, really flying.
Well, you know, that DSI AnyDoc team have done a fantastic job on this car. Just look at the way he's picking the cars off one by one. Just went down the inside of Mark Proctor there. He's back up onto the tail now of Andrew Kirkcaldy. Ahead of him, he's got Andy Smith and Colin White. They're battling in 3rd and 4th places. 5th, 6th, 7th places here. But look at the 25 car. He can choose where he can put it on the track. Everyone else is using the full width of the track, drifting out to the wall, car slithering and sliding on the edge of the adhesion. And that car, the 25 car, just has that little bit extra. That just must be magic.
I think it's great from a driver's point of view, isn't it? You can see him, as you say, Steve, he's able to drop that half a car length down. He'll go to the inside of Andrew Kirkcaldy this time. It'll be the drag race down to turn 2, and when you put yourself on the inside there's only one place you're going, isn't there?
Inside. Now look at the car and the shadow underneath it. You can see the car's actually running with stagger on its suspension. That means the whole car is actually leaning inwards as it runs down the straight. He's probably actually putting right lock on to hold it straight, and that means when he comes to the left-hand turn, he's having to put less steering effort in. Again, you can see the ground clearance on one side's less than on the other. That's the trick of setting a car up for an oval.
And with the added factor of brakes needed here at Euro Speedway, and talking about brakes, not a great break for John Stewart. Look at the sticker rub down the side of that 75 car, but great scrap going on here between the teammates.
And Colin White really fighting hard to hold off Andy Smith there, but look at the back of the 78 car. There's something coming out of it, and that could be a problem for Colin White in that 3rd place. Andy Smith still there in 4th, and you know, Ian McKellar and Andrew Kirkcaldy are starting to close in the 5th and 6th place men.
Unbelievable stuff. There is Andy Smith. He'll get to the inside of Colin White. That's clearly unsettled Colin White, whatever the problem is. We'll try and get news on that from Sam in the pit lane, but double wide, they'll come down to turn 2. Andy Smith surely is going to go through here, Steve, and pick up the spot.
He's into 3rd place, and you know, the way Colin White's car's going, I'm wondering if he's losing some fluid. Meanwhile, into the pits, the 75 car of John Stewart, beautifully presented as always, but they have put a big scrape on the right-hand side, and that is how.
End of the day then for John Stewart. That's disappointing for him. We're getting into the pit stop window. They'll come in and change 2 tyres on lap 25 or 26. At the moment, there is Ian McKellar Jr. and Roland Rayfelt in for his first pit stop, and absolutely critical that he maintains that 80 clicks pit lane speed limit.
Yes, 80 kilometres an hour, 50 miles an hour is the speed limit in this very long pit lane, and it's very important that you time your pit stop very carefully here. Klaxons blaring in the grandstands because they are supporting Roland Rayfelt over the wall. Now watch the clock on the bottom of your screen. From the moment the 3 men go over the wall, we're timing the pit stop. This is with wheel nuts, and look at that brake dust coming from the inside of the wheels. That's how hard the cars work the brakes here. You hardly touch the brakes at Rockingham in comparison. And let's have another look here. Is this going to be a sub 25-second pit stop? There's the clock running on the 25 car as well. And that was a 19-second stop for Roland Rayfelt. Brilliant stuff. But this lap, a lap later, Ben Collins is heading pitward as Roland Rayfelt heads out onto track. This is going to be interesting how it shakes itself down. A green flag pit stop for everybody. And this really is now the battle of the pit crews.
Well, there is Mark Proctor leaving as well. He's had his stop. They'll pick up those errant wheel nuts. John Mickle goes out in the 24 car, but there is Michael Verges having a real nightmare, Steve, this weekend, not really finding the groove, and he did need to do it, but now Ben Collins is in, the clock's running.
Well, let's have a look. We've got that 20 seconds to beat. It says be the best on the front of the car. Now, here's maybe the answer to Colin White's problem. See where that smoke or whatever it is coming from his car as he's in the pits. Well, there's no delay on the pit stops at the moment. The 78 car of Colin White there, still working a routine stop. 18.1 seconds for Ben Collins. That is a quicker pit stop than race leader Roland Rayfeld. And look at the smoke. Now that is something leaking onto the exhaust manifolds of the car. You know, I think he's burst the power steering pump.
Yeah, we're getting news that it's power steering fluid that's the problem. There's an analysis of the pit stops. Look how close the pit stops were between the 84 and the 69, but that will help Ben Collins. He's sure to put him out in the lead. Andy Smith's also been, and that must be quite frantic for the CWF boys.
Well, you know, they pretty well come in simultaneously into the pits, and the same two guys were supposed to be doing the pit stops. I bet it was mayhem down there.
Here's what happened as well with the 78 and 79. You talked about it, Steve, the fact they came in together. Andy Smith nearly missed the pit lane altogether.
Well, I'm not quite sure what happened there. Meanwhile, Michael Verges, he broke that 80 kilometres an hour, 50 mile an hour speed limit in the pits. Oh, and so has Roland Rayfeld, race leader. Now that is a brave call in front of the German home crowd, but a pit lane run through means that he is going to drop down the order, and Ben Collins looks as if he might well have this victory in the bag.
Unbelievable stuff. Roland Rayfeld winning or leading this race, I should say, in front of his home crowd. Meantime, Ian McKellar Jr., while Rayfeld serves that pit stop, and look at that millimetre close action from McKellar Jr. and Colin White, but also Michael Verges, of course, chasing our race leader Ben Collins for the championship. That surely damaged Verges' hopes.
Well, Verges back down at the tail of the pack. He's going to just have to try and get some championship points. You know, this is throwing it very much into Ben Collins and Team TA's corner as far as championship points are concerned, but the man who's impressing me is Colin White. He is holding off the flying Ian McKellar Jr. in a car we think doesn't have any power steering. Now, you might think power steering is for wuzzes. Believe me, when you've got a ton and a half of racing car doing 180 miles an hour into these corners and big wide tyres all loaded up with the cornering force, that will be like the steering wheels being nailed to the dashboard.
Yeah, we heard Colin tell us about his pre-race warm-up down the local boozer. Well, hopefully he hasn't done too much of that. Certainly not before a race, he wouldn't anyway. But McKellar Jr. really seems to be much quicker in the corners, Steve, but it's on those straights that's some serious grunt that's being developed from Colin White's engine, or some great use of aerodynamics. Meanwhile, the car pulling out to the low side, the right of our picture, there's John Mickle making a move on the 7 car of Andrew Kirkcaldy.
Well, Andrew Kirkcaldy there has John Mickle down the inside of him. Of course, the first ever Days of Thunder champion, John Mickle, won that title in 2001. Last year's champion, well, Nicola Minassian is off doing other things these days. Ben Collins, you know, he's never won a major title, despite winning loads and loads of races in different categories, including racing on the ovals in America in single-seaters. But let's have another look at this. We were talking earlier about confidence in drivers in each other. Just look at this. Both the drivers at 180 miles an hour, don't forget. And they have a message here. It says, if you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing.
5 laps remaining. We're on lap 45. There is Mark Proctor. Oh, now to the wall. And Andrew Kirkcaldy hits the wall coming out of turn 2. Michael Verges and Ollie Playle only just get through. And look at the bodywork hanging off Roland Rayfeld's car. Fortunately, that hasn't detached itself yet.
Well, that really is all happening up and down the order. Mark Proctor running with Roland Rayfeld. Proctor must have had a very slow stop. And it's 3 wide there. Kevin Clark, well, don't forget, he's one of our rookies. He is learning fast. Rayfeld muscling his way through ahead of the order. Mark Proctor on a real fight back here as well. This is 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th positions all rolled into one.
This is very, very scary. Ollie Playle in that bright green and black car under pressure from Michael Verges. Verges will go double wide with him. Behind them, it's another pairing of Mark Proctor and Roland Rayfeld. They're not two guys you want to be messing with. And Kevin Clark could pick all the bits up here, Steve.
Well, you know, Roland Rayfeld, look closely at the right front fender of his car. He has got a problem. There's apparently been a blow on the exhaust of his car. He's been losing a little bit of horsepower as a result, but the heat is actually causing the bodywork to break up. I've never seen that before.
Just shows you how much of a heat build-up there really is in those engine bays of these Days of Thunder cars. Well, we saw Andrew Kirkcaldy rubbing the stickers off his car earlier on. Let's just check that out again. Here he comes out of turn 2. Really a hard hit.
Well, no problems for the livery on Ben Collins' car at the moment. It says B number 1 on the bonnet of the Team TA car, and he is out in front. Colin White still battling with the 78 car in second place. The flying Ian McKellar Jr., well, maybe his feathers are being trimmed a bit now, because closing in is Anthony Swan, but the checkered flag is out for Ben Collins. Maximum points for the 5th time this season. Ben Collins is heading for the checkered flag and victory at Euro Speedway.
It's been an incredible run by Ben Collins. The team have produced a great car for him, but what a drive from Ian McKellar Jr. to finish third from the back of the grid. There's the CWS crew. They're happy for Colin White, who picks up second. So championship-wise, it's a 249-point lead that Ben Collins has over Colin White. Roland Rayfelt is third, 29 points behind Colin, and Vergers drops to fourth.
We had a problem on lap 4. We had lost all the power steering fluid, and I thought it caught fire and it was all coming in the car, the smoke, and they gave me a black flag, and I was like, oh no, this is the end of this job. And lucky enough we got it to the pit stop window, and then the smoke was coming out even worse. I pulled away and the flames went out, and I had to race the whole race with no power steering, so that was really hard on the arms.
With just 3 rounds to go, we're in for a thrilling climax to the season. Join us after the break.
Norwich Union Direct. Sorry, it's a people carrier. 3 years, no claims. And I'd like you to quote me happy. Yes, did you hear that? It's great.
Let Norwich Union Direct Car Insurance put a smile on your face. Call 0800 828 829 and let us quote you happy.
Put a fruit spring in your step. Unsurpassed engineering, unparalleled technology, nothing else performs like it. Champion, Mach 3 Turbo Champion. It's the closest, most comfortable shave. Now with a red-hot new look. Test drive one today. Mach 3 Turbo Champion. From Gillette, the best a man can get.
What's the difference? This one's faster. Call Screwfix Direct now on 08000 68 78 88 for your free catalogue. If you order tools and parts before 6 p.m, they aim to deliver the very next day. That's 08000 68 78 88. Call Screwfix Direct now. And if you spend £45 or more, delivery's completely free. Call now on 08000 68 78 88 for that real Screwfix difference.
Women love perfectly groomed men, but grooming certain areas can be sensitive and painful. Telebrands brings direct to you MicroTouch, which is designed to help with those problem areas. For precise grooming that gets close yet is safe to the touch. The sleek design gives you great control so you can keep the back of your neck barbershop perfect by yourself. Trim unsightly ear hair with just a touch. Embarrassing nose hair gone like that. Sideburns straight and even. Moustache and beards neat and clean. Got bushy eyebrows? Just snap on the guide and groom them neatly in seconds. Look at the difference. MicroTouch grooms from head to toe and anywhere in between. Shoulders, arms, chest or back. Powerful enough for the tough stuff, yet gentle even on the most sensitive skin. The secret of our precision MicroTouch system is that it cuts hair but doesn't cut skin. It's swift, neat and yet is safe to the touch. The Snap-on guide lets you control just how much hair is trimmed. Trim a little, a lot, or trim off as much as possible and show off that hard body. What a great way for women to keep the man in their life perfectly groomed. Or for mums who want to keep their kids looking neat and clean between haircuts. MicroTouch can give you and the whole family a quick trim with micro precision. A £30 value for only £14.99. That's an amazing £15 saving against the recommended retail price. MicroTouch, the safe, precise solution for everyday grooming. When you call, you'll also get our 10-piece precision grooming kit. It includes a host of grooming tools that will always make you look your best. A £30 value, yours absolutely free. You get it all, the MicroTouch Precision Groomer and this beautiful 10-piece grooming kit for only £14.99 plus post and packing. That's right, a £60 value for just £14.99. Call 0870 005 6501. That's 0870 005 6501.
This your Sunday evening lineup on Motors TV. At 8:30 p.m. it's the FIA Thoroughbred Grand Prix 2003 RD8 from Estoril. At 9 p.m. WEC preview. 9:30 p.m. a World Superbike 2003 season review. After that, World Superbike 2004 season preview. And then at 11 p.m, Australian sprint car rounds 8 to 9 from the Avalon Raceway.
Round 11 saw Colin White establish an early lead, but the smoke pouring from his front left wheel indicates he still has broken power steering. A quicker pit stop put John Mickle and the 24 car into the lead ahead of White as they rejoin the track. And as we join the race, it's a battle for third in the pit lane.
Now then, at the moment, Colin White and John Mickle, second and first respectively, as we see McKellar Jr. on the left. Ben Collins will have to drop in behind him. Remember, they must run at 80 kilometres per hour. That'll be about 2,800 revs in second gear, but here comes Mickle and White.
And they're doing 280 kilometres an hour. This is going to be awesome stuff. They're heading round on the banking, of course, through turn one. You can hear them lift off the gas there. It's not as steeply banked as Rockingham. It's a tighter set of corners, the tri-oval, 3 corners. And there they are coming out of the pit lane. You don't get it better than this. It's the 2 Torque Speed cars at the head of each queue, but it's John Mickle's car in the faster moving queue.
But I'll tell you what, Steve, Colin White looks mighty fit and really fast in that 78 car in second place at the moment. I just wonder whether John Mickle will be able to hold him off. He'll keep those racing lines. Colin White will try and duck down below the spoiler of John Mickle's 24 DSI Anydoc Chevy. And can the Chevrolet of CWS backed Colin White make it to the outside? He's going to go the long way around, but that should give him a better run onto the start-finish straight.
That's meant he's carried a little bit more speed. He's there in the slipstream. Now, John Mickle's car is making a hole in the air for Colin White's car, and that is the advantage that he gets. Just a couple of miles an hour more, but he gets his nose alongside. John Mickle can't use the full width of the track, and that is a copybook overtaking manoeuvre on a tight oval like this. Colin White now back in the race lead. John Mickle's still there in second place, and this is, I reckon, going to go all the way to the wire. Let's just take another look, though, at that overtaking manoeuvre. It was a classic.
Here he is, pulling out to the inside of John Mickle, gets alongside him. Mickle gets the call that there's a car inside, gives him the room.
That's 32 out of the 50-lap race at Euro Speedway Lausitz, this amazing facility in the former East Germany, east of Berlin. This is the battle for 9th place, and at the moment it is Kevin Clark has got the legs of Ollie Playle on the left of our screens, and the veteran John Stewart there in the 75 car against the youngest driver in the pack, the teenager Ollie Playle.
It's a combined age of about 67, I think, between the two of them. Ollie Playle, the 18-year-old, I'll leave you to figure out how old that makes John Stewart, but this is a terrific scrap. It's the Reebok Chevy of Ollie Playle versus John Stewart's green machine, but here's the battle. Andy Smith, incidentally, the car down on the low side, is a back marker now after troubles for him in the first part of the race. Ben Collins gets it around the outside of him, but they're still there, third and fourth, McKellar and Collins.
Well, that's McKellar and Collins. Meanwhile, at the head of the pack, it's still Colin White from John Mickle. Then it's Ian McKellar Jr. And that is Ollie Playle, who has been in the wall. And that will have been a 170 miles an hour brush with the wall. He's moved the axle across the car. You can see the car is crabbing to a standstill down on the backside of the circuit. He's heading across onto the road course, I think. And the yellow flags are out because there is debris on the track. It is always a very, very long walk home when you've crashed a race car, and Ollie Playle will be beside himself with angst.
He couldn't be further away, actually. They're all the way out at turn 2. Poor old Ollie's got a long walk back. Restart on lap 39. They've cleared up the debris from Ollie Playle. It's a single file restart. There is Andy Mack with the greens, and oh my word, everybody's all over the track.
Oh, that's a big squeeze. Ben Collins on Roland Rayfeld there. Rayfeld forced right down onto the white line, and don't forget, that's where the pit wall is. There's concrete on both sides of the drivers there. You do not want to be moving across the track.
Well, not surprisingly, we're already hearing the ASCAR officials, the Days of Thunder officials, are looking at that again, calling for re-looks at that. So we'll let them sort that out at the moment. Roland Rayfeld, though, up into 4th place. He's got Anthony Swan behind him there in 5th. Oh, and there's jiggery pokery going on for that 4th place, and Ben Collins 3 wide behind him.
Well, that's Kevin Clark and Mark Proctor, and Michael Verges there sliding a little bit wide and coming off the gas. Let's have a look at this restart again, though. Did anyone anticipate the green flag? You know, Roland Rayfeld might have just got on the gas before the green flag was waved. Ben Collins certainly there moved across to defend his position, and that was a bit more than the usual move you're allowed to make at the start of the race. But just look at this now, battle for third place. It's Ian McKellar Jr. on the right side of the track. Oh, and contact there between Ian McKellar Jr. and Anthony Swan in the Lego Racers car. Roland Rayfeld's the man taking advantage of that to move ahead.
Roland Rayfeld says Dankeschön, I'll move on straight through there, and he has done exactly that. But what on earth was going on with Swanee and McKellar Jr.? Ben Collins into the pits, he's got a restart infringement penalty. Good work by him though, Steve, got to the pits really quickly there.
Well, that was a good call from his spotters and his pit crew, but it is going to mean that Ben Collins, for this move, I think, let's have a look here, this is the second of these moves now. Just look at that, Ian McKellar Jr. contact there on the back of Anthony Swan as he defended his position. Let's have a look at it here at 170 miles an hour.
I don't know, I wonder if Anthony Swan just got into the back of McKellar Jr. there. Meantime, it's all happening here.
Well, this really is a bit of a blow for Ben Collins. Let's have another look at that restart. And there's Roland Rayfeld moves down. Now watch Collins. He's been told Rayfeld's coming down his inside. Don't forget, you don't have much rear visibility in this car. And this was a big, big chop. Looking at it from Anthony Swan, there goes the Ben Collins car. Leaves the track nice and open for Anthony Swan, I've got to say. Now, Michael Burgess, he's further back in the pack. Just watch this going on. There's Rayfeld. Whoa, that was a big move by Ben Collins. No wonder the stewards have given him a drive-through penalty. But that really drops him to the back of the pack. He's only just on the lead lap. He's about to get lapped, in fact. And he has to stay on the lead lap in case there's a yellow flag. And just look at Rayfeld and McKellar are still at it. Hammer and tongs for that third place. It's Colin White, John Mickle, Roland Rayfeld. That's not Dankeschön, that's out for either.
I think you might be right. But I'll tell you what, Ian McKellar Jr. is doing a brilliant job there to stay out of the back end of Roland Rayfeld. Now, talking about Roland Rayfeld, this is the moment we freeze it there to see where everybody is in their position. And Rayfeld has been adjudged by the officials, the Days of Thunder officials, to have just momentarily jumped the start. Collins was brought in for that lap infringement that we saw. He served a penalty, and Rayfeld is in for his now.
Oh, I tell you what, there'll be tears at bedtime here, because this is the home hero, the local Berliner. Phil Weaver in the 77 car, keeping out of everyone's way. He's got a sick engine. He is running still because he can get championship points and prize money here. Don't forget, it covers his costs for going all the way to Germany. Meanwhile, look at this. Ian McKellar Jr., fastest man on the track at the moment, moves up into second place ahead of John Mickle, and we're riding with Anthony Swan in that car 44. He is closing in on Mickle now and is going to be shooting for the Hooters car for third place.
Well, unbelievable stuff there. I think John Mickle might have just lost some momentum there as his teammate went by him, and that's allowed Anthony Swan. We heard him earlier in the programme saying he was fearful that he just hadn't got enough grub, but you know what these drivers like, they all want more power, Steve, more power.
Well, let's see whether he's got more power. He's right up on the tail of Mickle now, and that car does not seem to be lacking horsepower down the straight. He's 1 mile an hour faster maybe than Mickle, but 1 mile an hour is enough, because if he gets his nose alongside now, he'll have the advantage. He'll be able to take the line, and there you go. You're clear, his spotter says to him, and he can use the full width of the track.
And he makes that move through to third place, and Anthony Swan is on target at the moment. Remember, his best result this year was in the previous race here at Eurospeedway, where he got a fourth. He's at the moment holding that third position. It's a question now of whether Mickle can get back to him. Well, out front, Colin White continues to lead. Ian McKellar Jr., though, is marginally closing that gap just ever so slightly in that battle for lead.
Well, let's take another look at that move by Anthony Swan. You can see how low the drivers are in the cars as well there, and particularly Anthony Swan sits very low in that car, but there was that straight line speed that Swan's been saying that car, the 44 Lego Racers car, has been lacking. It's not lacking it now. Right up on the tail of Ian McKellar Jr. for second place. Is Anthony Swan going to be getting for place higher up still on the podium?
Not if Colin White has anything to do about it. He's only got one corner to go now. Meanwhile, remind you that this is going to throw the championship wide open, because Colin White is on the lead lap, but Roland Rayfeld and Ben Collins, the championship leader, down a lap down, and there is the checkered flag, and McKellar Jr. just holds on for second ahead of Anthony Swan. And what a drive by Colin White. Absolutely cracking stuff.
And you know, this race is still on as well, because this is the battle almost a whole lap down between Roland Rayfeld and Ben Collins. It's the Berliner that is heading for the checkered flag ahead of the man who leads the championship. And those stop-go penalties have meant they're going to be battling right the last two cars across the line. Well, the drivers head back from Germany with Ben Collins 191 points ahead of Colin White, and Michael Burgess recovering to third ahead of Roland Rayfeld. And round 11 produced quite a few thrills, especially on that lap 39 restart. it caused more than a few eyebrows to be raised. Both Ben Collins and Roland Rayfeld were given drive-through penalties for being naughty boys.
There was there's people obviously moving around.
Sorry, don't disturb your image as a fair driver, okay? It's really fine to drive with you, but the last cross and the restart wasn't fine, okay? It's not even my opinion, that's also
Watch out, man.
Proctor and so on. Okay? Congratulations.
Anyway, talk us through it.
Yeah, well, that guy and a few others jumped the restarts, so that made it quite difficult in the second sort of, so from the start there's people moving around on that, jumping the starts, which the organisers didn't do anything about, and they chose to slap a penalty on me in the second start, to which I don't really understand why I got it. So I had to do a drive-through, so I went from being fourth to last, I think it was.
He has to be a bit more concerned about that, what could happen if he does it again, because next time I have no space. You have seen he pulls me to the wall, and that's not the right way. So it was just caused that he was pulling over it, and it's not the right way. Normally he should accepted it when there's somebody faster, make a faster restart. I accepted it that he overtakes me last time, so he should do that. He should do that also.
Round 12, and we're back at Rockingham.
As the Texaco 200 takes the green flag at Rockingham. John Stewart taking a tight line further down the order, but at the head of the field it's Ben Collins inside Roland Rayfeld, and those two are pulling away from the big battle between Derek Hayes and Ian McKellar Jr. in third and fourth.
Unbelievable stuff, third and fourth place, Steve. You called it there. Ian McKellar Jr. trying to get to the outside of Derek Hayes. They're double wide as they go through turn two. Michael Verges behind them in the maroon car's a grandstand seat.
Well, he's got a grandstand seat. John Mickle's working hard behind Verges as well. He is up now into that position as 25 car again plays the McDonald's car of Derek Hayes, but it's Hayes holds on to that third place ahead of McKellar, Verges and Mickle.
Unbelievable stuff from Ian McKellar Jr. there. Derek Hayes though did an equally impressive job holding off the Challengers Junior, or Bex as he's affectionately known in the garages for obvious reasons when you see his hairstyles.
Well, yes, a very stylish driver is Ian McKellar Jr., but now he's really got to focus in on not only closing in on Derek Hayes, he's going to have to defend, because he's got Michael Verges and John Mickle there. The last two cars in that group closing in on the 25 car at the moment. And don't forget, it was Verges in that red and black car and John Mickle who fought for the first ever Days of Thunder title back in 2001. Mickle won.
Yeah, Mickle came off the best that year. Between them on the track, let's see how they get on. But before we do that, let's ride with Michael Verges at the start. The green flag waves from on top of the gantry. Look to the outside there. That's Ian McKellar Jr. on the outside of us. In front of us in the red car is Derek Hayes, and those two side by side as they thunder down to turn two.
Well, Roland Rayfeld, interesting there, he actually gave away that second place or that race lead quite easily to Ben Collins. These two, you know, they went a whole opening lap on cold tyres, don't forget, at close to 150 miles an hour. Meanwhile, Michael Verges plays John Mickle yet again. This is the battle for fifth, and Mickle has again that a little bit more grip. And we saw Verges early on in the race putting big armfuls of lock to turn the car in down the camber.
He did indeed, but there he goes to the inside this time, coming out of turn four. They're going to be side by side as they head across the line this time. Mickle surely will go through and take up that position. He does so, he completes the manoeuvre, and Verges now will have to try and re-garner his defences.
Well, look at this, Ben Collins forging his way through the back markers there. Sadly, Fires Billamora's car misfiring very badly on the inside there. And look at Roland Rayfeld. What a move that was by Rayfeld. Now, can he make it stick through turn one? Ben Collins carrying the speed on that outside line, but that was a great opportunist move by the Germans, really keeping Ben Collins on his toes.
300th of a second, Steve, between the leader Ben Collins and Roland Rayfeld. Let's just take a look at that again. We're riding on board with Rayfeld. Here's the problem. Sean Richardson, the back marker in front of him. He goes to the inside. Collins has gone to the outside. They head into turn one, side by side. But what about Collins on the outside?
Well, you know, Ben Collins there just kept his cool. And they keep saying it's about being number one, Team TA. And he's certainly doing that. Meanwhile, Ian McKellar Jr. And look at this. Ian McKellar Jr. now with John Mickle right on his tail. They've both managing to start to pull a bit of airspace between themselves and the slightly less well-handling car of Michael Verges. And don't forget, these two, the DSI Any.Dot cars, are the two teammates.
I'm sure we saw a bit of smoke there. Yes, there is. There's smoke coming from the back of that 24 car. The right-hand outside tyre, Steve, looks like problems for Mickle.
Well, that is what is known as cutting a tyre. Now, don't forget, Ollie Player bounced off the wall earlier on. There you could see the smoke. Michael Verges backing off a little bit there. He thought there was going to be a spinning car in front of him, I think. And John Mickle is heading for the pits. Now, that is such a disappointment. Well, this is the battle for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th places, still being headed by Colin White. Lap 29 though, that is the opening of the 2-lap pit window. In other words, the cars will be heading into the pit lane this time around. Ben Collins still the race leader from Roland Rayfeld, but they'll be into that pit lane to change the 2 outside tyres. And don't forget, these aren't Formula 1 cars, these have got conventional wheel nuts. Now let's see what happens here. This is a big gaggle heading for pit lane. Oh, and Colin White's decided to stay out there. I think he realised he was going to get clouted up the rear. And just look at that side by side in the pit lane. I've never seen that before.
Andy Smith, well, to be fair to him, there wasn't a lot of room there. They came thundering towards pit lane. The reason why they're all trying to get the cars woed up, as they say in America, as he collects a bollard that's smoking away there, is that they have to hit the pit lane speed.
Well, there is Ben Collins. Now, he's come in effectively a lap later. There's Roland Rayfeld. His car giving a bit of a wiggle as well. Ben Collins very determined to find his way past the back marker, Tony King, there to keep his speed up. He's running at exactly the pit lane speed limit. Now, the sad news is the 79 car of Andy Smith, he clobbered that deformable barrier hard, and I think he's wrecked his front suspension.
Yeah, I would go along with that. We've got the clocks running here. The 69 car of Roland Rayfeld, the 84 car of Ben Collins. This is the battle to be first out of pit lane. Andrew Cocody has already left. Anthony Swan is into the pit lane as well, but who's going to be first out of these two? Will it be Rayfeld? Will it be Collins? Who's your money on?
You know, my money's will be on a different car altogether, because the Torque Speed team are awesome in the pits, and Ian McKellar Jr., I reckon, is going to be one of the fastest men out of that pit lane. But it's Ben Collins a full 3 seconds quicker there. And watch this, this was really determined stuff by Ben Collins. This helped his pit stop as well, managing to run right on that pit lane speed limit, muscled his way past Tony King. But there is the bad news for the 79 car. Andy Smith is out of the race.
Andy Smith, a great addition to Days of Thunder in 2003, but we're hearing about problems for the McDonald's car, the 68 of Derek Hayes.
Can you hear me, Derek? Can you hear me?
And those problems are associated with his radio. Let's listen into the team radio again.
He has no way of communicating. He won't know who's where or what.
Well, after that caution flag for the pit lane incident, here we have the green flag again. We go racing on lap 40. It's Ben Collins from Roland Rayfeld. Derek Hayes still attacking there, but without that radio to tell him what's going on around him, he's going to get a black flag, I am sure.
Hear me, Derek? Can you hear me? Come in.
Well, they're still desperately trying to make contact with him, but at the moment he is concentrating, I think, on holding on to that 4th place, but with no communications. That really is a major safety issue.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the deployment of the black flag, Steve, because the Days of Thunder Fish, there it is, the black flag. That black flag means that you must report to pit lane immediately. It's displayed along with a pit board which has a number on it, and that number on that black flag board is 68.
Well, sad news for Derek Hayes. He was running so strongly there in that 4th place in the McDonald's racing car. This is the battle for 6th place. 3 wide. Now that is awesome stuff. And Colin White is the man who loses out on that. He's now trying to hold on to 7th position from the number 7 car of Andrew Cocody. But poor old Derek Hayes, you know, I reckon they're coming in for cotton buds to clean his ears out.
Something like that, I would think. Poor old Derek. He's a great addition. Another one who's been fantastic in the series this year. But we're on lap 49 in this 12th round, the penultimate round of the championship. This is the battle for 2nd place, but a reminder that Ben Collins down front is through on the inside goes Ian McKellar Jr. He'll pick up that 2nd place from Roland Rayfeld, and that's going to have an impact on the championship. But if Collins stays where he is now, he's going to win the title.
Well, Colin White really could do with getting out and ahead of that big battle for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th places at the moment, but it's going to help his points total. There we can see Michael Verges, don't forget, another potential point scorer, as Stevie Hodgson is heading for pit lane as well. Let's have a look at that. That was a superbly judged overtaking manoeuvre from the 4th turn of the corner. And Ian McKellar Jr. now starting to run away. I'm just wondering if Ian McKellar Jr. can actually get on terms and close in on race leader Ben Collins.
Well, I suppose the question is whether he's got the time. Remember, we've got 9 laps to go. That's all we have. The 84 car at the moment looks to be running on rails, and I'd agree that Ian McKellar Jr. is making great progress, but whether he's got enough time to... Oh, we got a yellow flag. That's going to close the field up.
Well, yellow flags out for debris on the track, and that has negated the lead Ben Collins has pulled out. Now this is interesting. 2 laps to go on the restart. A dash for the cash, a sprint to the line, and it's Ben Collins extending his advantage over Ian McKellar Jr. and still there in 3rd place. It's Roland Rayfeld, and don't forget the man he's battling in the championship with for 2nd place. Michael Burgess is right on his back bumper. This is awesome.
Unbelievable stuff. It's Ben Collins on his way to his 2003 Days of Thunder title. Well, if he finishes where he is, that's exactly what's going to happen. But what about the places 2nd, 3rd and 4th? That features Roland Rayford and Michael Burgess, the 2 guys in 3rd and 4th at the moment.
Well, that really is tremendous. Michael Burgess does need to get ahead of Rayfeld to cement potentially that position. Don't forget Colin White still there in 6th position, and in fact we'll be looking at 5th place now. It's Colin White and Rob Speake battling for 5th and 6th, just out of our view. But Ben Collins, if he can hold on for just 1 more lap, he is going to be crowned the 2003 Days of Thunder champion with 1 race remaining in the series. And Ben Collins, it says number 1, be the best on the bonnet of that car. He is determined to be the best.
He wants to win the Texaco 200, but in so doing he will clinch the Days of Thunder 2003 title. Let's give a shout out to Ian McKellar Jr. as Ben Collins, who's had no mechanical problems, he's had no incidents. He starts his final lap on the way to the title.
Yes, the white flag being waved off the start gantry, the sign to the drivers, just 1.5 miles of Rockingham Motor Speedway still to run, and Ben Collins averaging here 151 mile an hour average lap. He set a new lap record earlier in the race, 152.55. This is a real champion's race. He has won it from the front, and he is heading not only to his 6th victory of the year, he is heading to the Days of Thunder title.
Over 31,000 are on their feet to see Ben Collins cross the line and take the championship, not only for himself, for the Territorial Army and for RML.
It's been a brilliant year. I've really enjoyed it, and today's been, it's all the hard work the boys have been doing all season to make a brilliant car. It's just the car's unbeatable at the moment, so it's just really fun to drive it.
Collins is crowned, but Colin White, Roland Rayfeld and Michael Burgess, it doesn't get much closer than that, does it? And 1 race to go. As the speeds build, just listen to the howl of those V8 engines. 12,500 horsepower is unleashed across the start line, and it's Ben Collins in the race lead. Ian McKellar Jr. gets squeezed wide, tucks in. It's side by side for 2nd place though. The Dutchman on the left of our screens in the 96 car, that is Michael Burgess, and Roland Rayfeld in the black and orange 69 goes down the inside. Colin White, who is Burgess championship rival, and trading a paint there down into turn 3. That really is on the limit driving there by Roland Rayfeld and Michael Burgess. Colin White takes advantage to take a look, as does the former Formula 1 stock car champion Rob Speake in the number 5 car. Oh, and Rayfeld tucked right underneath Michael Burgess' wing for that 3rd place, but across the line at the head of the order it's Ben Collins, Ian McKellar Jr. then 4 wide into turn 1, and it's Rayfeld gets shuffled to the back of the pack. Colin White makes up a place, and now it's all down to Michael Burgess and Rob Speake. They are in pursuit. Oh, and a spinner. That is a blown engine. Oil on the track down at turn 3, the fastest part of the Rockingham circuit at 170 miles an hour, and it's claimed a victim. That is Mark Proctor with a seriously wrecked 12 car, a spinning John Mickle down there in the number 24, and there is Andrew Kirkcaldy also stationary. Well, Ollie Player walking away, yellow flags being waved, debris all over the track down there. John Mickle is heading back to pit lane, but he's left a bit of water from a burst radiator. So let's have another look at that. Well, there you can see, Nicholas Leven in the 42 car, heavily damaged down there. There's also the number 6 car there. That is Stevie Hodgson. His return to the championship has been very short-lived. His car looks heavily damaged. Let's see what happened again here. Now, don't forget, we saw, a wall of death by John Mickle over Stevie Hodgson's car. That was pretty dramatic. Now we're riding with Mark Proctor in the blue number 12 car. Oh, there you see, big wiggle on, bang, into the wall. Well, make a note in your diaries. Those are the dates for next year's Days of Thunder Racing Series. But I tell you what, that was a heavy hit for Mark Proctor. Now we go racing again on lap 14 of the final Days of Thunder race at Rockingham, and it's Ben Collins from Ian McKellar Jr. Look at the battle for 3rd and 4th places though. It's Michael Burgess up into that 3rd place in the 96 car, but then it's anybody's race. Number 5 car of Rob Speake, the 69 of Roland Rayfeld, and the 76 of Colin White. Don't forget, Burgess, Rayfeld and White could all still get that 2nd place in the championship. The gold and black car there at the tail end of that group. That is a very, very impressive start indeed for Peter Folding, number 33. He newly crowned Formula One short oval stock car champion, getting a special ride here this weekend. But it's Ben Collins now with Ian McKellar Jr. going every inch of the way with him. Collins may well be the champion. McKellar, though, desperately wants to win this race. Oh, and that looks like broken suspension for 79 Andy Smith. Big disappointment for him. Meanwhile, just look at this. Ben Collins, a new lap record, 34.475 seconds. That's 154 miles an hour, 248 kilometres an hour. The fastest ever Days of Thunder lap at Rockingham. Well, he said he was going to drive the wheels off that car, so he is. But just look at this too. This is the battle into the closing stages for second place. Ian McKellar Jr. has Rob Speake right under his rear wing, and McKellar Jr. is having to up his pace in the closing stages of this race. Absolutely stunning. Just 4 laps to go. Can Ian McKellar Jr. hold on to that second place, or will Rob Speake be moving up the podium? Colin White still looking good in 4th position. That's going to be second in the championship for him, but he's got Michael Vergers right behind him. There is Anthony Swan, Roland Rayfeld and Derek Hayes, all still locked together in that battle for 6th, 7th and 8th places. But at the head of the field, it's Ben Collins pulling away. He said he was going to win from the front. It's a true champion's race for the man from Team TA at the moment. But Roland Rayfeld, the race isn't over with him. He makes a move on Anthony Swan. Meanwhile, Michael Vergers closing in, challenging Colin White. Now keep your cool, Colin. You just need to stay on track. Oh, and that is on the limit, driving by Anthony Swan. His tyres, I think, have gone away. Derek Hayes trying to find his way past him now. And meanwhile, there at the bottom of our screens is Stevie Hodgson, still running, still limping. He's going to be out there for the checkered flag. But Colin White, Michael Vergers, their battle continues on. They're coming up to lap Tony King. Lap 49 of a 50 lap Texaco 200 race. So this is going to be the run to the checkered flag, the white flag being shown to signify the last lap of the race. Michael Vergers in that 5th place at the moment really needs to get ahead to get 3rd place in the championship. Don't forget, the rest of the field working their way through the back markers, but already it's Ben Collins through the final turn of the 2003 season, takes the checkered flag and victory, his 6th victory of the season. Great battle for 2nd and 3rd places across the line. Ian McKellar and Rob Speake, and it's everybody's race across the line in the places. Fireworks at Rockingham, a superb finale as the sun sets on the 2003 season, and the 2003 champion under gunfire, the Team TA car of Ben Collins.
Unbelievable. And we've got donuts going on. Phil Weaver's down there. So too, I think one of look like Stevie Hodgson. There is Phil Weaver. There's Stevie Hodgson getting in amongst it as well. Everybody's celebrating.
And I tell you what, there are 31,000 people standing in the grandstands, yelling themselves hoarse. And just look at that. That is what you call showboating. Ben Collins flying blind in the 6 times race-winning number 84 car.
Hey, good donuts those as well. We see people struggle to get those. There's Derek Hayes joining in. He'll lay down some good doughies as well.
Well, let's go through the whole of the Roll of Honour of Days of Thunder 2003. Ben Collins and Colin White, of course, 1 and 2 in the championship. Michael Vergers taking 3rd just by 1 point from Roland Rayfeld. Ian McKellar Jr. a good run to 5th ahead of Anthony Swan and Mark Proctor. Phil Weaver 8th, Sean Richardson 9th, and Ollie Pale completing the top 10 and top rookie ahead of the veteran John Stewart. John Mickle gets 12th, Andrew Kirkcaldy 13th. Kevin Clark, Rob Speake, Alessandro Lindsay getting 16th position just ahead of Andy Smith, the stock car race. Well, Stevie Hodgson, resilient as ever, gets 18th in the championship ahead of Tony King, Derek Hayes, Nicolas Leven, Chris Cook, with Kieran Dines and Earl Goddard completing the top 24. Well, it only took a couple of races for Peter Folding and Firo's Villamoria to get their championship points ahead of Max Papis and the NASCAR race, Steve Grissom.
Well, that's the lot for this year, but what about next year?
Well, here is the calendar for 2004, and it's quite a simple equation. The first Sunday in every month from May to October is Days of Thunder Sunday. And I hope you're going to be with us for those.
Well, our congratulations go to Ben Collins. He is the Days of Thunder 2003 champion. Of that, there is no doubt. We've enjoyed bringing you Days of Thunder during the course of 2003. and you hope we'll join myself, Steve Slater and Helen Chamberlain for more during the course of 2004.